Cheers, So, 21 here, my best mate.
Hello.
One of my best mates, Blandy.
Yeah, man.
Probably the most natural, strongest hairline I've ever seen.
Got to be mentioned.
But yeah, thanks for coming and having a chat with me, mate.
Yeah, man. It's an absolute pleasure, mate.
So obviously we've done this quite a few times off camera.
Yeah,
As in just over the years, just chatting shit, innit? So
yeah.
we'll see where it takes
We
us.
sit here for hours, bro. And then I look and I think, right, I'm going to set off at 8 because then I can get home and get a good night's sleep. And then it's like 10:30. I'm like, shit. But I'll set off in 5.
It is mental.
It's
though, yeah, it is mental just how quick the time goes. Like,
Yeah, man. Time flies when you're having fun, mate.
but yeah, obviously, like as we've already talked about a bit before already today, we're going through like a big transitionary period in our life, and I don't know. It sounds like we're going through like a similar thing, but in totally different contexts.
Yeah.
Which I know, like we've talked about, me coming from the spiritual side, you coming from Christianity side.
Yeah.
But it still seems to just have the same underlying current, best way I can describe it. But I'll definitely say, like, as of recently, like even like last night,
Yeah.
like I had a dream. It came to me of me, like being like a very young kid, and just like in the dream, the best way I could describe it is, I was like a very, very young kid, like a toddler, and I think I'd like said something to someone, like another kid.
Yeah.
And it, in a like wanting to help them, I think. Well, there was no like ill intention behind it anyway. And then I think they went and like told their mum, and then they'd like said it in a way that I was being harmful or like not in the way intended. And in the dream, like the mum ended up like screaming at me or whatever. And I just felt terrible. And then I don't know, like when I woke up from it, the best way I could describe it was just felt anxiety. And then I was just like looking back already, like over my life, I just feel like up until this point, I've been living life in anxiety without even realising it. But you're not going to, because that was my reality. I think, I can't remember where I read it now, or where I heard it, but I think it was basically saying like your main coping mechanisms, or the way you are, how you take life in, is like formed within your first 3 years of like being alive. So I think like, for an example, in like my situation, let's say if I've like been a kid, and then this is all like subconscious stuff, like I can't remember exact memories, but say if I've been around a situation where, I don't know, it's ended up making me feel anxious, and then how I've dealt with that is just going quiet and then shutting myself off. Or it's just been so like overwhelming that it's just like I've gone within. It's then probably like made me sort of like scared of humans in a way, or even just, like I said, in this dream, I think I was emotional to this kid or like vulnerable with him, and it got turned in a certain way, and then all of a sudden this mum shouting at me or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, has something happened to me in my childhood that's like caused that? And then without me realising it, I'm just going throughout life. And it's only in this time now where I've had this, of recent times, woken up to my nervous system and just realising how I've been going through life with running off emotion. So like, right now, the new patterns that I'm practicing is I'll have an emotion, I feel it so like, well, I don't feel it so deeply. What I'm saying is I feel an emotion, and then there's normally an action straight from the emotion. So that's like overthinking. So I've realised now I've always been an overthinker. So say if like anxiety is produced and then overthinking is paired with that, it then just spirals down. And I think anxiety is so subtle because it is just the reality that I'm in. I've never known anything different. And the only reason why I'm knowing that now is because I'm grounding myself in reality. So like these thoughts and stuff that come up of like, it might not work out, or what if you get shot down or this and that. I'm just like, wait, hang on a sec. I'm actually, for the first time ever, realising I've got myself and what self-love actually means. And what I mean by that is like that space in between the emotion and the action. And that action can just be overthinking or just the thoughts that come and spiralling on it and then just becoming worse.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if you've ever like found it yourself, but like I don't know people's realities. I'll never know your reality, same as the way as you never know mine, no matter how much we communicate it. But I've just never ever had this space before where an emotion comes, I can feel a pattern going on in the background, or like what I've always been used to, probably from being a kid of how I've dealt with things.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, let's stop here. Let's create the space of like what we actually do. So, as you know, like recently, I've, well, I don't know, it's about, what date is it? Yeah, the 12th today, that's right, yeah. So I'm just like, it's been like 6 weeks since, well, I won't name names just for like the people's privacy, but like I've had 3 relationships in my life.
Yeah.
We'll just call it E, B, and N.
Yeah. Cryptic.
So, yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, so obviously, even though it wasn't an official relationship, things ended with N like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So understandably, I am a human, which I'm realising as well. It's like humans are messy and have emotions. So I've been given this like a challenge in a sense of, well, here's some like heartbreak for you, or you've got to go through hard times. So as being a human, I'm obviously going to get the feelings of longing, of missing, of the anxiety that comes with that, the uncertainty. And it's easy for me to talk about it now because I'm in a grounded place. I'm with my mate. And I can just talk freely. But like when you're in it, you're in it so deep, and it's the actual reality of what you're going through. So, for example, I will feel longing like towards her or like missing, and then my brain will then start playing memories of like the good times together, like the laughing, or it's like, oh, should I contact her? And in the past, it would have then spiraled on that and just gone deeper and deeper and deeper until maybe I would have like reached out or just feeding on it. Whereas now I'm like, oh, there's that. I realise what's happening now.
Yeah.
And it's like accepting that I am actually a human. And I'm going to obviously have these thoughts and feelings, and that's okay. I'm welcoming it into my actual home, is in my reality.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how you would describe your sort of like presence, like how your consciousness right now.
Yeah.
I think I've sort of like of recent times made it into like a home. So it's like, right, I'm in this home, I'm this awareness, my thoughts and feelings are on my body, on my ego, and my soul is behind that, which is what the awareness is. So when these
it's a good way to frame it.
Yeah, so
home as well, that's such a positively loaded word anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Home. So I'm just like, I've just realised like this home, I've never had the awareness that I'm behind it. It's just always been full of emotion and thoughts that are just feeding off each other from my body, from however it's learnt to survive from being a kid. So now I'm like, okay, the self-love, the soul behind it is, I'm aware of these things and they're not going to control. But I've noticed throughout the years, I've always like tried to cut off, as in like, I don't know where it's come from, either society or just how I've learnt to deal with things. But like, say if a bad emotion comes in, there is no good or bad emotion, but say if emotion comes in that I don't want, it's just like, there's a problem, or cut it off. And I feel like I've just suppressed it and pushed it out the door to be like, you're not welcome in here. And then over the years, it just bangs louder and louder and louder, till eventually it's a problem. Or you know, from my past, I've been in like suicidal depression before. I do feel like that's a part to play in it. But now I'm actually recognising like, oh, all emotions and thoughts are welcome, because that is me. That's the whole of me. And I'm slowly integrating all those missing parts that have been pushed out of the home for so long. And now here. And I feel like life has, for example, brought N into my life for me to finally conquer this like love, like, you know, we'll go into it more later on, but it's like, you know, where I've come from and how love was a thing like I struggled with. So then to then push on it and then find love, but then to be incompatible with her because I wasn't listening to what my body was saying.
Yeah.
To then have her removed out of my life, it's now left with this, like, these lessons in a sense. Like, life is like, here you go. This is how I'm going to teach you about the awareness behind yourself and how you've not been dealing with emotions.
Yeah.
So now these emotions are here. I'm like, oh, you're welcome. You're welcome in my house, but you're not. I'm not going to decorate the whole gaff in you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like it's constantly coming back to that point when I find myself slipping into the thought process again, or it's spiraling. I'm like, oh, what feeling is driving this? And it's very often like not the actual thing I'm thinking of. So, for example, I might get a memory of N, and then I start, you know, thinking of that memory and spiraling on it, or what I've missed out on. And I'm just like, hang on a sec, this isn't actually really about her. It's about my need for connection. It's about my lack of connection that I want with someone, because I am a human. Just because I obviously, coming from a spiritual side, I see my soul as being the awareness behind it. It's like I've sort of transcended. I think for a while I transcended being a human and being like, oh, this is just human stuff. Like, I'm above that in a way. Yeah. But now it's like, no, I'm here to live as a human. Yeah. And now it's like, now I've got the love behind it. I can actually be like, oh, here's this emotion. Actually physically focus on the physical sensation of it, speak it out. I just speak it out like, I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling like I desire connection. And it's amazing how much like less impactful 100%. It is. And I was just like, I've never known this.
Yeah, man. It made me think when you speak, and then, you know, like using, it's like using your thoughts and feelings now that are coming up, even unpleasant ones, as like messengers to that other place. It's like redirecting you, isn't it? And yeah, it reminds me of, you know, the conversations we've had like about alchemy, turning the lead into gold.
Oh yeah.
And it's so easy, you know, like the habits that we've sort of both had at times with substances can definitely shut that door and just make you think, unpleasant emotion, let's just counteract this with just instant dopamine.
But
let's not listen to that.
You can speak about that now in the way you're doing. But how crazy was it when we're in that time? Would you say you were consciously aware of that?
Oh, consciously aware. It's hard, isn't it? How do you define it? I think there was definitely part of me that knew deep down that this is not right. This is not the natural order of things. You're doing this to mask. You're doing this to cover up. You're doing this to avoid the pain, the very pain that you need to experience. And
I wouldn't say I went that far. I think I always knew deep down, like, I shouldn't be doing this. So, like, for context, we both smoked weed for quite a few years. until like,
quite a few.
Yeah, the past couple of months, you know, we've stopped that. And how, well, for myself, I saw how it was getting in the way of, exactly like you described. The emotions were coming and I wasn't allowing myself to feel them. I was just trying to run away by just numbing.
Yeah.
But also I think from the years of emotional suppression, probably from how I've, you know, whatever I've learned at a young age of dealing with emotions is just to suppress, push them away. So I think having that at a young age, being brought up with that, and then obviously the hard times that have happened in my life, like losing my dad and like losing my brother, and it's just at such a young age, at like 16, it's so intense that my body's just gone into survival mode and pushed them off.
Yeah.
I think weed came along because it not only like numbed the instant emotion going on in my life, it also let me feel something underneath. Yeah. That all the stuff that was pushed down. So then you just becomes part of your pattern, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, when everything goes on.
And then you drive your baseline dopamine down, and you just need that more and more. And it's interesting to understand like the chemical reaction side of it, of the biological side of it, but the way that would manifest in your life is just get back from work and you know, recently it's like difficult day on the charts or this or that, things you need to address emotionally. And it's like, or could just fall back on this pattern, this decade-long pattern of instant chemical happiness, temporary, instant chemical, temporary happiness. Because they say, don't they, there's the speed of which the dopamine spike increases makes it more potent, doesn't it? So it's like, you know, working on a hard project or something, and something worthwhile, like gradual, oh, we're getting there, getting to the end, where you can just pick up a bong with no effort as well, and just go, bam, dopamine, no effort dopamine like that.
It is, isn't it?
And it just becomes so just tempting, and it's quite easy to think that it's quite harmless, but yeah, you're just not. I mean, for me, obviously I know you mentioned the emotional side. For me, it was more the fertility side and the impact that it has on your male fertility, which is just fact. But then I'm noticing now, through the abstinence of that, the almost secondary benefits, but primary really. Because obviously I've done it for fertility, but then I'm like, oh, actually, I'm miles better. Even if temporarily, like you have days where, you know, you don't have that crutch, that chemical crutch, but still more present.
Yeah, would you say like present. Your relationship with yourself is like changed?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say like it's exactly where it needs to be, but it's definitely. I'm starting to be aware of it. There's nowhere. There's a lot of things that you can just not address, man, and sometimes it sounds like a bit too deep, or it's like, oh, you're running away from da-da-da. It's like sometimes when I hear that in the past, you can sort of think, oh well, no, that's not me, I'm not like running away from things, and you're like, well, you're not addressing things, so the wording of it, word it however you want. And we've had a similar discussion on self-love where it's like, well, I don't hate myself, so I must love myself. And it's like, nah, there's a big difference. It's like, oh, I'm not running away from things, but you're not addressing things either. So it's irrelevant how you word it, using it as a crutch.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but also I do feel like we've both been pretty switched on.
Yeah, I would say so.
For a while, which is why I've realised as well we did the best we could do with the awareness we had at the time. And it's only when you get the awareness that you realise you can really do something about it. So like, for example, with myself, I thought self-love was the physical. I thought it was, as long as you have like a decent job with decent finances and you've got a roof over your head and you're clean and you look after yourself in a healthy way, as in going to the gym and you eat healthy and all that, that's self-love. But that's only like, I feel, the surface of it. That's just, the physical side. But there's this whole mental side underneath as well. I know there's obviously the big talk about men's mental health. And as someone who's gone through suicidal depression, I can understand that. And I just feel like on my side now, it's only because I've got this awareness that I can actually start to work on myself. Because I didn't have the awareness before to even know what to work on. Yeah. So I think what I mean by that is, I don't know, it's sort of like the feelings I've been having is, you know, the difference between our like spirituality, for example, and your Christianity. I think we've sort of come to like a rough conclusion, is that like the way you'd call like heaven is what I would call the other side.
Yeah.
Like, I do believe we'll come from a higher power. So there's this other side, which in my world is just pure love itself. And then we're a soul from that come down into this life, which is like a beautiful beautiful like theatre for our soul to go through it. And I do believe in like fate and destiny. Like fate, like everything happens for a reason for us, and then destiny is what we decide to do with it and how we come out of that. So it's like, I don't know if this is fact, but what just feels true in like my reality is I'm this soul that's come down that probably, like, I believe everyone has like gifts in a sense, something that they're here to do. Like, some people are here to be professional basketball players, and like they get that dream and they follow it, and that's what they're designed to do. And I'm just like, sometimes like the greater the weight, the bigger the blessing. And I just kind of feel like myself, not that I'm above anybody in any way, but the blessings that I'm starting to feel is because of all the hardships I've had earlier on in life. And like, say, like theoretically, yeah, I'm a soul that's come down that can feel emotion so intensely, and that's my gift. But as a kid, I'm then pushed into this world with all this like craziness going on and not knowing how to deal with it, which is then shut off that emotion. And I'm just living in anxiety itself of like constantly looking out for, like as a defense mechanism, constantly looking out for problems that are going to happen, people that could hurt me, how I can build a life that keeps me in comfort, to keep me safe, basically. And then, for quite a few years, I had that suicidal depression until I eventually let go of the life that I had that wasn't serving me anymore, to then go and start living. And it's just like, events have happened that I feel have just waking me up even more so. And it's only like massively in recently where my soul's just sort of been woken up to the point of, oh, you've got this whole like body in front of you, and you're here to live it, and you've been running in anxiety. And it's just like, oh, now I can actually start to process emotions instead of my old coping mechanisms or like patterns of emotion comes, I spiral on it, I push it away, I smoke weed, do drugs to escape. It's now like, oh, you're welcome in my house. I can feel you, but you're not going to run the show. You're not going to paint the whole house in this. I'm giving you your time, I'm giving you present, I'm giving you that love to myself to feel it. And then it's just like, now I'm starting to see the anxiety lens that I've been looking through. And I've realised as well that I am a human, and humans are relational. And I've always considered myself as like an introverted person, and someone who, I don't know, just stayed away from humans, per se. And I think it's just, that is just out of comfort, as in, if I don't speak to people, I'm just in my own world, and that's more safe. But that's not living. And now it's like I've come into the state like, oh, I actually want to start connecting with people more. But like, this is where like the anxiety side will come up and be like, oh, but you might look like an idiot if you're just approaching someone randomly, or they might reject you in this way or that. I'm like, because I'm doing my new way of like processing emotions, I'm like, oh, wait a second, that's an anxious thought. That's not me thinking that. That's a thought from anxiety. And this is where it's like, oh, I need to actually live life, go out and talk to people, and you slowly build up that new pattern of like how you're actually going to deal with life. I feel like that's probably what's going on with you as well. Not in that way, but how you're dealing with certain things, with like your trading, for example. You've had emotions come up where you've previously you smoked your way out of it, or relied on other people just to like offload it, and now you're starting to change your relationship with it and that pattern.
It's funny because I would say that, when I was talking before about, did you know in the moment that it was a problem? And there would be times where I would, but then there also would be times where it's like, oh, I've had a really stressful week, under so much stress and expectations that you put on yourself, pressure on yourself, lack of self-love, like, oh, you fucked up, you've done this wrong, like, shouldn't be making these mistakes, all that sort of thing. And then instead of doing what I needed to do, which is what I'm doing now and trying to do better at, which is like just try and feel it, journal it, accept it, broaden your time horizon. Like, this is just one afternoon, one session. Like, this is one experience. Like, it's fine. You're gonna, and as well, like you were saying about the emotions that come up, like this, let's say, mistake of trading in one session of one afternoon is revealing something to me. It's showing me where I currently lack. This is valuable. This is the lead that you can transmute, and instead of just being ruminating and spiraling on as if I made that mistake, fucking hell, is this even possible, self-doubt, all that stuff, I can just, and then just cover it with smoking weed. I can then slow down, just feel it more, and sort of break that chain. Like, it's almost like a habit. Do you know how you were saying before? You feel the emotion and you just act straight away, whereas now you're like, I feel the emotion, I'm like, right, I see you, you walk around my house, how do I want to proceed? Whereas before it'd be like, oh my god, all this emotion, it's so overbearing, I'm just going to spill it onto everyone. It would be Lou. I'm just going to spill it onto my wife, unformed, just raw, I've not processed it, I'm spilling it onto you, unmanaged, and then I'm not going to even process it myself now. I'm just going to get high for the whole rest of the afternoon, up until the late hours of the morning, and then have a late night, and then just think that sort of like it's like self-medication, but it's not medication at all, man. And I feel like through stopping that,
because it feels good, you think it's medicating.
Yeah, it feels good in that instant, doesn't it? Yeah,
like
because if you compare that that feeling of, you know, disappointment that isn't then mediated with self-love, it's just pure disappointment. You've fallen short of the mark. You could do better, but you didn't. And then just instantly jump into the weed. Like, the contrast immediately is better. Like, you're immediately getting that dopamine hit. But even in that same evening, it will just wear off. And, you know, when you smoke weed regularly, it's not as, you know, it's not as strong as if you know, you've never done it before. You do it once and then you just like, oh my god, high all night. When you're just used to smoking weed, like, yeah, you might get that immediate relief. Couple hours later, you gotta just hit bongs every like 45 minutes, half an hour, and it just doesn't make you feel good. You just know somewhere deep inside, man, that there's something wrong. But I just never had. And you know, mate, I tried to quit so many times, and it was only recently that sort of had enough like reasoning behind it to quit. And even before this time, I've tried to quit with the same reason, and obviously gone back on it. So I know what that feels like on the other side. So that's probably helped me. But yeah, I think like spiritually, it's very interesting, man. We have like very different beliefs on the metaphysics of the world. But I, especially recently, want to realise the utility of your belief and your framing of life, and that I don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, oh well, Jack doesn't explicitly believe in the divinity of Jesus Christ, so any of his mental framing is therefore of no utility to me. Like, that is, and it's not something that I actually think of, but that's how I behave at times in the past, you know, where it's like, and almost felt like it's a problem that I've got to reconcile, and it's just not the case at all. And I was listening to something this morning, and I was reminded of the two most important commandments given by Christ, and it was to love God with all your heart, body, and mind, but to love God more than anything. So you would associate that, I'm assuming, with the source, the love. So
pure love itself.
That's paramount. Always that is at the top. And then the second is to love your neighbour as yourself. And it's like, out of Jesus's mouth, those were the two most important things. So for me now, and probably forever, the things that I'm trying to sort of maybe reconcile but sort of mediate between is having these rigid beliefs about what I believe, but then also always maintaining those two tenets of life. Like always, if I'm sort of giving my opinion, if I'm debating, if I'm trying to convince, or if I'm arguing, or whatever the case might be, always remember them too. And I think that's where I've definitely come unstuck in the past when we've had these types like any spiritual conversation in the past. I feel like I'm trying to reconcile something, and I can hold beliefs, and you can hold different beliefs, but they're not actually that different. Especially in the way that we believe we should act in the world. It's almost identical. There's so many parallels, it's ridiculous. And I like sort of dancing between the idea of, got these absolute rigid beliefs about who I think Jesus was and what he is and represents, but then also I don't know what the purpose of that incarnation manifestation is. Maybe it is to bring people to a place more easily, to a mindset similar to what you've adopted, through an extreme amount of personal turmoil and trauma, and how many people have been through things that maybe the same or not as bad, that they've gone completely off the rails because they never found the thread that you found, which has brought you a lot of peace. And maybe that's the purpose, where maybe God incarnated in that form to be like, I'm going to just bring everyone in of all capabilities. You're a very emotionally intelligent person. Not everybody's on that same playing field. Some people with different attributes who are not as connected in that way might then just easily relate to Jesus, and that can bring them back to love. I don't know if that's true or not, and I feel like that's something that I'm like going to explore and figure out in my life. Do you know what I mean? Like that's something that I'm sort of just thinking about at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're right, in terms of how we actually like operate in the world, we're both very similar. Like, you just you don't want to ever harm anyone. You want to do the best by yourself, and just live an honest, genuine life, an authentic one as well. And I think it's going back again to, I'll never know your reality. It means you'll never know mine. And there was that David Bowie quote, which I like, which is like, spirituality is a people that have been to hell, and religion is people that fear it. I can sort of understand it in a way, because it's like, in my depths of darkness and like hell that I went to, and in that suicidal depression, it's just, that's where you start to find the light. And as I started to move towards that, I make changes in my life. This is where all this stuff started to come to me. And like, I do feel people come in and out your life for a reason. Some people are to stay. Some people it's just for like a lesson. Like I've definitely learnt with romances, and they've just, like with my first relationship, she was a brilliant girl, but just not my person. And we were compatible in terms of we could live together, probably like best friends sort of thing, but there was no like connection or love there on like my side, at least anyway. And then that was just emotional survival in that point. And I was just holding on to this burning building that I had to let go of. And then going into my second relationship with B, and then it was like there was love there, don't get me wrong, and like connection, but there was incompatibilities. But I didn't realise, I didn't have the awareness at that point about my fearful avoidant attachment style, and there's just this world going on within myself, and I felt like I had to hold myself up to this image, which all masks are going to break, and I didn't have that communication, that brutal, honest communication that's required in a relationship, and then ended up just like cutting it off, which only from the pain of doing that is that I had the awareness of it, and it it woke me up, and I was just like, oh my God, like, I've done that to someone like I love, and just brought so much pain, and you know, to be like, I have awareness of this and I want to change that, then to have some time out, and then, you know, go into that thing with N, and then just be like, oh, as long as I communicate everything and just like see it as my avoidant attachment style, like that, it's just me, and just keep pushing on that, and then for that to then show me the awareness of like, you've got a nervous system as well, Jack. And like your nervous system is telling you like you're not happy, and you've also got boundaries, you've got needs, you are human. And it was only in that I realised what I do actually want, and that is when I get feelings for someone, and I had that great connection and love with her, like more than what I've ever felt before. It showed those feelings, obviously, and then my body was just like, well, with those feelings, I want commitment. I want mutual commitment. I want mutual growth. I want a relationship. I want to build something, grow something with this person. And because she didn't want that, it obviously couldn't work. And that's when I found the love for myself of like keeping this person, that's someone I love, and I can't, you know, going against my body. This is what I have to let go. And then that's when you find yourself, you know, just people coming in out your life, and it makes you expand. And I just think some of the things like you've talked about with like Christianity, it, like you were saying before, I'm open to everything, as in, like, the way I see it is my spirituality, and that's what I resonate with because of my reality and what I've been through, whereas you have gone through yours and that resonates with you, and you've got to that point through Christianity. So it's like you listen to me and are open to things, I listen to yours, and it's just like, oh, we're connecting the same way there. Like you talked about the chariots of fire, or is it
Yeah.
you're saying like at the actual gates of heaven?
Yeah, I don't know where it's mentioned. I think it might be Old Testament, I could be wrong. I heard it from Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
But there's some sort of myth story where it's like guarding the gates of heaven, there's the cherubs, the little baby angels, whatever the fuck, which is weird enough, with the flaming swords. And it's to get to that heavenly place, they're going to chop everything away from you that's unworthy. And it's on flaming swords, it's on fire. Yeah. It'll be fucking painful.
And that's, I can, like the way I hear that in my side of things is, I am this soul that's been put into life, and it's down by it's been covered in this ego and like way of survival, and now I'm going through the burning swords, burning flames, to strip back all these masks, all these patterns and coping mechanisms, to get back to that raw source of me, myself, and to become the full authentic person that I'm meant to be. And this is where I am in life now, and it's just it's so grand and like a blessing. But I've had to go through so much pain to get here, and there's still so much more pain to come. But when it's like, when you realise that growth doesn't come in comfort, there has to be pain. And like, it's in growth that you gain your wisdom. You just become I just feel a lot more settled with life, and like I've like forgiven it in a sense of being like, this is the way it is. And also I'm now actually awakened into who I'm supposed to be. Yeah. And how I can actually have a relationship with my life, myself, instead of all those years looking externally for love and building a life around a relationship. I'm now like, oh no, the greatest love I'll ever have is within myself. And it's like, whatever's destined for me, I don't feel like I would have been able to handle that. My past self, it would have always been like, oh, relationship, what it's all about. Whereas now it's like, who am I and what am I supposed to do? Which is why I want to, you know, make these videos, just because I can like look back and document it and be like, oh, this is how much I've changed throughout the years, and like not to forget that, because it's quite often, I don't know why or where it's come from, but for myself it's like you always end up looking at what you don't have. It's like, oh, I desire a relationship and I haven't got it. And it's just like, yeah, you're a human, you're going to desire connection with someone, that's understandable, but look at what you do have. I was like, I have myself, I have these great friends around me, got this abundance in life in so many ways, And it's just looking through those lenses, building that new pattern of
Mm-hmm.
like, what do I have, and being grateful for it.
Yeah.
And it's just so much easier way of living, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
And I don't know, I just feel like I've come that way, and then you've come from a way of like Christianity, but you're coming to the same points.
Yeah. It's really like, I genuinely don't know how I'm going to reconcile the absoluteness that is a fundamental part of Christianity with the fact that there are so many similarities when you look at it through a psychological lens, like a hero's journey, like a personal development, like a spiritual awakening. And it was, for me, on my Christianity arc, like it was like, obviously I listened to the Jordan Peterson's biblical series lectures. Obviously went to a Catholic school, just thought absolutely nothing of it. Listening to his lectures, and that's like so much hours of material, and he's not, I mean, still to this day I don't think he says specifically if he believes in the literal Jesus Christ or not.
Wow,
him
really?
personally.
Oh, okay.
But he absolutely believes and understands the messages behind the text, and he's gone into them in insane detail. And I found so much benefit listening to the thoughts, and he's almost doing them live. Like he's got a script in the sense of, well, we're going to talk about this passage today, and I'm sure he has ideas. We can take it here, we can take it there, but he's literally on stage, like fleshing the ideas out, and whole audience fucking sat there 2 hours, 2.5 hours at a time, just hear a fucking pin drop, mate. Everyone's locked in, because it's almost like that religion and philosophy and message has been the bedrock of all the Western world that we see around us. It's argued that the pursuit of that science is a Christian pursuit, in the sense that the universe is intelligible because it was created by a God, and we are made in his image, so we can understand it, bearing that image. So after listening to all that, I thought, right, wow, these aren't just stories of maybe things that did or didn't happen. These are deeply, like, psychologically relevant to the human journey and the human process. And then the thing that tipped me over into the absolute camp was the Shroud of Turin, which, in my opinion, still is just inexplicable to me. The facts of it are that there's a cloth material passed down for 2,000 years, which has always been claimed to be the burial cloth of Jesus Christ. In the 1800s, when photography was first discovered, somebody took a picture of it, and then when they did the photo negative, saw that there was a person in the photo. Like, there's a photo negative on this cloth material, which is actually almost impossible. After studying it, they know how it's theoretically created. You cannot replicate it. The image itself matches all the wounds of Jesus, the crucified marks. It's got human blood in the fabric. Pre-mortem and post-mortem. They've done samples on the blood, and they can see like adrenaline spike. They can see liver and kidney damage in it from like severe dehydration. They can see one of his eyes was like smashed up, or over 700, you know, then they call it the cat o' nine tails. It's like a wooden stick, and it's got the leather straps, or thingy, and it's got like a little ball of lead on the end. It's got a few of them, and just literally just a short one to just maximum force, just whoosh, and it was just absolute. Like, there's actually documents from the Roman period where people have like documented this happening to other people, where it was so brutal that part of like their organs were coming through the skin. Like, it was literally, like, if they just keep doing the same point on the back. The point being, for me, so in my opinion, it's like, what is the chance that it psychologically map the spiritual journey of man in my opinion. And then also that there's an actual historical character that also is accredited to sort of, you know, people say these things and it's like we got quite a lot of written evidence for it. And then you find this artifact where they're saying the only way they can theorize that it's possible. So for context, they actually, somebody gave a prize of £1 million to anybody who can replicate a similar type of image onto that fabric. It's never been claimed because it's still impossible to do it. Wow. But they reckon the way that it could have come about theoretically is, I think they say the actual number is something like 40 or 30 billion watts of energy in 1/40th of a billionth of a second. So that's like, boom, like instant flash. And furthermore, they've scanned the image with AI and the way that the light energy that has come onto the fabric is not like 2D. It's actually 3D. So for someone to forge that, it's actually impossible for them to do it. Wow. So like when they've mapped it, the 3D image of Christ, and they've done like a reenactment of it, and it just, the blood type is I don't want to say what it is, I want to mess it up. It's like a rare blood type which is most common in like the Jewish lineage. Right. There's pollen on the fabric that is only from plants that bloom in April, in that time of period of time, in that period of place. They're not native to any other place. The list of facts is just like astronomical. So that's a long way of saying that those facts alone, like 1 + 2 + 3 + 4, like when we get to the bottom of that list,
I'm like, you, it's concrete.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So that, all that to say, has that instance happened, Christ being born into the world, to quote unquote save people, has that happened to sort of reconcile or make an easy bridge to reconcile that way of sort of constant death and resurrection, of trying to get a positive mental framing work? Because like the Christian traditionally is like, it's that unshakable sort of mentality where it's like you belong to Christ, Christ is in you, like you have this insane like sense of higher purpose. You were literally, and he died for you, like knowing, because people say like, oh, you're only doing good things to get into heaven, but that's not the right argument at all. It's actually, you are, as you are right now, completely forgiven. And that's why you do good things. There's nothing left for you to do. There's nothing you could actually physically do to be reunited with God. God has come to you. You've not come to God, he's come to you. And the fact that sort of even just the message behind that, like the creator of all things, including you, has come to you, and all you have to do is just have a relationship with that.
Yeah. Which is exactly how I hear it, like having the relationship with myself.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I'm having that awareness within me, and that is the self-love of coming from the higher powers, and what I see is like the universe, the eternal, which I've called Ernie. Is, I don't know, it's like I can I don't know, it's like in spirituality for me anyway, I can understand like religion in a way, like there has to be these different religions for these different people to connect to it in their way. So it's like for you, you've connected back to that. We're both agreeing on a higher power. You're calling it God, and I'm calling it pure love itself, the eternal Ernie. And it's like, I'm not disagreeing that Jesus did or didn't happen. It's just like irrelevant in my world, because I've connected back in my own way through spirituality. Whereas it's something that's actually catalysed you to get back in that way. So it's just like I would never judge anyone for it. I think it's a beautiful thing if it connects you back and then subsequently makes you go throughout life living the way you are doing. So that has to be a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you also talk about how like lack of judgment as well on people, and it's just the same here. Like how I'm saying, everyone has their own different realities, and I don't know how they've come to that point or what they've gone through to get to that specific version of themselves. It's like they will never understand where I am in life, so it's just no judgment on my part. I understand it in that way, whereas you understand it on a Christian way of like God is saying, don't have judge on people, or treat your neighbours like you do yourself, and that sort of thing. It's do you know what I mean? It's there's supposed to be that difference in the world, otherwise it would be a boring place. Like, I know what you're saying is in Christianity you have to believe Christianity.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I can understand that for you, whereas I can just accept everyone and just believe whatever they want, as long as it gets them back to pure love itself, which is what brought us here.
Yeah, I think this ties into some of the things that I struggle with, particularly with the Christian worldview, because some worldviews do not bring you to love. And it's like, I do fully understand, and it is a very attractive idea where it's like, even if you're off the path, that's your path. Like, I do understand that. But I also worry that if that is followed to its final extent by everybody, then if everything's special, then nothing's special.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man, like, let's use an extreme example. People who kill people for their faith. There are places in the world where that happens every day. There are religions in the world where that happens. There are extreme versions. I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I do worry if you look at it, anyone looks at it for a spiritual lens where it's like, but that's your path. It's like, but that's wrong. It's a wrong thing to kill someone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's even worse to kill them in the name of God. Like so your connection to God makes you think you can kill this person. Like, for me, that's not God at all.
I get you.
But then, flip side, what do I like, mate? I saw this thing recently, and I've not actually read the book of Job. That's the Old Testament, but I need to, because the message is like, apparently it really interesting from what I've heard. Long story short, this guy's got loads of blessings. In the story, the devil says, let me tempt him, trust me, I'll fucking corrupt him. God's like, nah, this is my guy, you won't. They played out, and eventually, when Job has lost all of his shit, like, some of his friends and his family have died, he's fucking down bad. He's like literally laying in bed, crippled. He's like got sores all over him. And eventually he cracks, and eventually he does say to God, like, he's cursing him out, like, what the fuck have I done wrong to deserve this? And I've not read it, so I need to defo read this and come back. But the bit that I saw that was reciting it was basically God's response was, instead of answering his questions like why this is happening to Job, he basically asks Job some questions, and it was like, who are you to ask me this? Where was you when I created the heavens and the earth and the stars? Where was you when I created? And he goes down the list, and to the point where at the end of it, Job accepts the reality and accepts his suffering, because he almost realizes that who is he to question God? So then you're like, I can believe this is wrong. I can believe that I think God thinks this is wrong. But what do I know about what God thinks? So I always want to remind myself to temper my fundamental beliefs and absolute beliefs on Christianity with the constant reminder that you actually do not have a clue what his God's reality is.
Yeah.
And that is a very difficult thing that I struggle with constantly.
Got you, mate. Yeah.
And there are going to be times when you express your opinions and I'm like, that's beautiful. And there's times you express your opinions and I'm like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I've got to catch myself in that loop. Like,
I see what you mean, yeah.
that's my opinion, that's wrong. Is that wrong? How could I ever know that's wrong? But then if there's nothing wrong, then everything's right. And it's like, what does that lead to, man? That leads to, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
what do I do?
Yeah, this is where I'm just like, oh, like, this is where it becomes beyond me, in a sense of like, I just accept that I'm not supposed to know, or I don't judge because there's just loads of stuff that I don't know, and it's irrelevant, and it's just bringing it back to actually grounding yourself in reality, really, of like, what can you do in your world around you, and like, what do you feel? And it's like, heaven and hell, you know, I see that as actually on earth itself. It's like how you actually live life. And I just feel like I've been down the hell road and now I'm like connecting more back with the heaven side, and it's just for myself anyway, it's that mind, body and soul, you know. And it's just like, your mind is your thoughts, your body is your emotions and your feelings, and your soul is your love and your awareness behind them. I think when you can bring all them together, you're just onto a winning formula there. And I think when you just move through life with love, become love itself, you'll just naturally attract it. It's not something, I think I've found out that it's not something, again, it's not something I try and get love from people. It's like, love itself is what is me doing it. So like, when me loving someone is how am I trying to explain it? Like, the greatest feeling I've felt and the most enjoyable feeling of love itself is when I'm actually loving someone, not when they're loving me. So it's just like, when you move through with that, you'll gain it the most. And yeah, I just think actually grounding myself back down into reality now, and just realising like I am a human with all these emotions, and having that love for myself for the first time ever, allowing those emotions to be there without judgment. Like, to me, love is being present, no judgment. It's, you know, like, understanding, is patience. It's just so much stuff, and I'm like, oh, when you actually give that unconditional love to myself and realise there's all these parts of myself that I have to integrate, and I will continue doing so throughout life. You never like stop, you're always growing. And the more you integrate all these missing parts, the more you just become your true authentic self. And I think that's how you give back to the world, and what is your destiny. You know, fate is all the things that happen for us. You know, it's quite easy to go down that pessimistic route, that negative way of viewing things, of like, oh, life is hard and life is happening to me, you know, it's beating me down. It's like, no, it's happening for you, it's breaking you down. So it's like, for example, if I wanted to gain patience, life's going to bring me stuff to learn how to be patient. It won't just give me patience. You know, it's just like, it's going to keep testing you till you're like, oh, like, this is where I'm not being patient. And I've realised that with myself, I was never being patient with myself. I always thought, like, my logical mind, my thoughts, mind part of the mind, body and soul, my mind was just like, oh, logically, I've got this figured out. Like, that makes me like bulletproof in a sense, or like, just get over it. But my body is just like, I'm a nervous system, mate, and it's going to take me a lot longer to figure this one out. I've got to actually live it out. And I got that battle with myself then. And without love of even knowing that, I've got this battle going within, and it's just so turbulent. And I'm like, oh, like, it's just such like an awakening and a blessing. And then you can just move through the world with so much more peace. I think that's what I'm just so grateful for.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see where this journey goes, eh, mate?
Absolutely.
But it's just nice to like be on our own separate journeys, but still moving with that same love.
Yeah.
And just wanting the best for each other, really.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I think definitely for myself at the moment, I'm wanting to actually connect more with humans. So it makes it sound like an alien or something.
Connect more with humans.
Yeah, but I actually want to just start like being vulnerable and putting myself out there. Like I'm enough.
Yeah.
And show love to people.
Mm.
And just connect with them and not be so isolated with myself like I have been doing over the past 32 years. Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome, mate.
But no, thanks very much for the chat, pal.
It's been a pleasure, mate.
It's only 1 hour.